Pearson, and welcome to my channel. Man, another day, the 27th of August. It is Tuesday. Hope everybody's having a good day. I am trying to 90 degrees weather. This is the place to be. This is the place to be. Might have a little glare, but hey, it's all good. It's rendezvous time, old school. I'm driving. It's going to take me a while to get to the highway. We can get started. How's everybody? Sorry about that. Things are not connected real bad. The reception is bad. Oh, sorry about that. Is that better? Reception a little bit better now? Trying to get some extra water. I just had a salty hamburger and I'm going to pay for it. I'm paying for it. My body doesn't respond good to salt. Man, this is it. This is it. This is it. This is it. I'm about to get on the expressway, then we'll go from there. How about that? Man. 50, here we go. Yeah, a lot of things going on in the Trump, in the Biden, in the Kamala Harris world. A lot of theater. Makes me laugh the last couple of days. We're going through a, we just keep bouncing back between courts with Trump, and then after we go through courts, we get Trump back on the campaign trail. In between time, there was a pause, and we had the Democratic convention. We had a Republican convention, and in the last 3 days, I'm like, yeah, we're back on that Trump thing with the indictments. You know, you listen to it, you're like, you know, I'm glad that Trump is not a ballerina, because he would not be able to make it. Just too much. We are living in a zombie type situation. Too much. And they got it all orchestrated, people. Believe it or not. They got it all orchestrated until the election, and until they either do something with the economy, or they end this 10-month war that they have over in the Middle East. Something's gonna jump off, but they sprinkled it up. They gave Trump a little while to regroup. I think he went to court only one time, just before he had his RNC convention. And as soon as the DNC convention is over with, here they are. They're back to that. What I want to talk about is this Mariah Carey thing.
In about 15 miles,
lately, I have been saying that these numbers that I'm coming up with, they're too perfect, people. These numbers, these decodes lately I'm coming up with, they're too perfect. I mean, I know there's a spiritual world out there, but to be able to, like, the video I did yesterday and today, whereas they just celebrated Kobe's 46th birthday, but he died at 41 years old. But for me to connect the dots and show that Kobe died on, I think it was January 18th of 2020, and then subtract it from the day that those two ladies died, that Carey's mother and sister died. I mean, Mariah Carey's mother and sister died on, it looks like the 24th. To subtract the death date of those two ladies versus Kobe Bryant's death date, and come out with 4 years, 6 months, 2 weeks, and 1 day. That's crazy. So it comes out to 46 and 41. 46 meaning that 3 days ago was Kobe's birthday, and 41 being that's when he died. I mean, don't get me wrong. I'm glad I could figure it out that everything's set up like that. But people, at some point, and I've been talking to a few people about this. Are these people really gone? And that's no disrespect. How can it be that perfect? How can it be that perfect? It's amazing. You kind of wonder, do they get with these superstars ahead of time and tell them the plan and they got to act things out? But I'll tell you one thing, it does look like it's sacrifice season. We've got, and notice, here's the thing, like I told a few females the other day, I'm like, look at the trend. I'm like, Kamala Harris, we found out that Kamala means lotus flower, right? And we know that flower is blooming right about now, literally. And it's coincidence, if you want to believe that Kamala is running for president. And we find out that through the Kamala flower, here comes the sun god Ra. What a time. So in that perspective, when that happens, you look back, you say, okay, Kamala's a female. And we think back all the way to the point where you had Gerald R. Ford predict in the future they'll have their first female president. But he didn't say Kamala. But I'm researching that right now. I haven't found anything that he said that. But I tell you one thing, it's all fitting because I didn't know that Mariah Carey had a perfume, and it was made in part by lotus flowers. Did you guys know that? I'm assuming the women did. And that perfume that she has that's way back in the day, right? For her to have a perfume with lotus flower in it, I mean, come on, it's just lining up. It's just lining up too well, you know? And then she had the video, the song called Forever. For those of you all who saw my video, you saw that Forever comes out to 44 in Gematria, and 44th president was Barack Obama. So you just have to ask yourself, are all this stuff made up ahead of time? Or how does it fit just right? Because this stuff is just too perfect. It gives you chills. You're like, wow, how does all this happen? I guess we'll find out when we get to heaven. But right now, I'm telling you, it makes me even suspicious about the decode, people. I'm serious, because when I do these numbers, of course, it blows my mind. And I'm sure it makes you raise the eyebrow when you see what I present. But after a while, you do ask yourself, what exactly is materializing before you? And I submit to you that a lot of these things might be crafted, in that it might be not true. Because again, the numbers are fitting too well. I don't know if you guys ever thought about that, but that's been on my mind the last few months. And I've been telling a few friends of mine, I'm like, how do these numbers fit just perfectly like this? But yeah, we live in a time, I believe, of sacrifice. We have Mariah Carey's mother and sister. We have Sonia Massey from Illinois, Springfield, Illinois. She got killed. We have Sheila Jackson Lee, who died about a month ago. I did a video on that. And it just so happened that Sheila E. just performed with Prince this past week. There's two Sheilas. And I did a decode on their names that fit too perfectly. We have a lot of prominent women dying. And I'm asking myself, is this set up for the political scenario. That's what I'm thinking. Look, I'm looking at the trend, because the first female to get that position, all of a sudden we got these prominent females dying like this. You got to question all these prominent females dying like this. It kind of makes you wonder who's next. And you hate to think like that, because everybody deserves to live a beautiful, long life. These women are grandmothers, mothers, aunties, friends. But the way the Holy Spirit has taught me over the decades, as I've read about this stuff, long before I did YouTube, I know that to expand, you have to shed blood. And you have to have a death in order to resurrect a life. In order to get more dominance on the earth, for you to dominate the world, you have to do away with somebody. That way you can have your kingdom grow. So I understand all the components and what it takes to make that happen. So in that respect, I'm not shocked. But people, we're living in that time. I would challenge anybody to don't think any different. We're literally, to me, watching sacrifices of females. And I would not be surprised that between now and November 15th, and then from November 15th to January 20th, the day of the inauguration, if and when Kamala gets back in office, when she gets in that seat, there's going to be some more female sacrifices. That's the trend. I believe she's going to be president. Only way that's not going to happen is that the real powers, they want Michelle Obama. Other than that, the lotus flower is speaking, baby. It's speaking. I am so glad I know about this stuff. When I used to read about the lotus flower back in the day, I didn't really, give a hill of beans about it, because I hadn't connected the two. A few years ago, I did a few videos on my old channel in relation to some murders that took place over in, I believe, San Francisco and New York. I don't know if you guys remember. It was during the lunar moon. It was during the lunar moon. And during the lunar moon, a lot of people got killed. There was an Asian elderly guy. I think he killed between 8 to 12 people. And then he shot himself in the head in the parking lot. You guys remember that back in the day? That was during the lunar moon. That's probably the last time I was really studying those gods. But to me, that was a hit in relation to the gods. There are a lot of gods out there, people. There are hundreds of thousands that people have worshipped since the beginning of time. Yeah, it's serious. So when God says, I'll have no other God before me, just turn your head like a cycle, because there are a gazillion other gods out here, false gods, that dynasties have put up and resurrected. It kind of makes you think about the time when Moses went up to see God to get those tablets and they wasn't patient enough, and when he came back down, they had taken and made a golden calf. They had to have some image to come after. It just show you how paganistic it was then. But because we live in this brick and mortar society, a lot of us don't think that paganism is there. But as you can see, they put it in our face every day, don't they? They literally put this paganism in our face through symbols, through signs. They do it every day, the symbols. It appears to me that the closer we get to the coming of our Lord and Savior, hallelujah, Jesus Christ, the more we're going to see this, because they're getting bolder. And in other words, they're not shy at all. They're showing themselves more and more and more. Like I could just hear them in my brain. I got this. I don't have to hide anymore. I don't have to be in the shadows. I can just show you who I am. And there's going to be less pushback. Only God knows what the percent is of people, either overtly or covertly, who are into paganism. I was talking to a few black women the other day, and they were telling me, Pearson, did you know that a lot of black women are beginning to have groups where they're becoming witches and studying witchcraft? I'm like, yeah, I've been hearing that. Not that other groups don't do it, but I was just talking to some black females, and they were like, Pearson, did you know that a lot of our friends that we grew up with, they left Christianity alone, and now they're into witchcraft? I'm like, yeah, you can go on YouTube and you can find black women who actually are into witchcraft now, and they really think it's okay. But yeah, there are a lot of people who, how can I put this? They don't have the patience to wait on God, because, you know, God requires faith, right? Look, he requires faith. And like I said the other day, he only requires a mustard seed, right? So God must have known that the times were going to be so bad that he said, you know what? If you just have mustard seed faith, I can work with you. But you got people who are just like the children of old during the time of Moses. They're impatient. And, you know, I'm not going to lie. I do get impatient sometimes when I pray. And what I've learned the hard way is that when I move before the Holy Spirit is in gear with me, many times I can mess up the rhythm of things. I don't know a better way to say it, but you know, God will show you and say, yep, you see, you out of line, young man. You moved too soon. So it pays dividends, if you will. It pays dividends to, if you pray and ask for something, then you should wait for the deliverance to come. You should wait for him to show you. And I've had to learn that because, you know, sometimes when you do get impatient, you then show an attitude. Am I right? Thank you for the love offering. Thank you. You do get sometimes, and that's part of spiritual maturity. I believe God will work with you because he knows your heart. He knows that oftentimes when you fall off the rail, you don't really mean, you just want to hurry up and get it done, or you're saying, God, pull me out of this situation. And you can, again, move too quick and move too fast. And the Holy Spirit's like, nope, I don't want you to move right now because, look, this is not the time. And I've had to learn that. And how do you get in rhythm with God? Look, the only thing I can advise is learn his voice. Learn his voice, because, look, even at my age, that's why I don't like a lot of noise around me. I don't know how you guys are built, but I was born with a handicap. So noise is my enemy, okay? I do not like a lot of noise. I do not like a lot of distraction. And as I get older, if I'm on the phone and somebody loud talking or I'm trying to interview, I'd rather just stop the interview because I can't concentrate it. It's just the way I'm built. Now, some people, they can work in the middle of a forest fire. No, nothing phases them. I've met people like that. All types of noise. A band can be playing. And I admire that, but I can't. I'm not built like that. But learn God's voice and know your temperament. You feel me? Look, you got to be honest with yourself. Everybody's not built the same way. You know? I'm going to say an acronym of something that I can't say because I'll get in trouble because it's medical. Everybody's got a different AND. Okay? I'm going to go that route. Everybody's got a different AND. What is AND backwards? AND is what? We made in God's image. Part of what's made in God's image is an AND. You do AND backwards is what? Somebody type it in there. Somebody know what I'm talking about. Thank you. Everybody's got a different makeup. And in that makeup, believe it or not, there's patience, right? There's a courtesy trait, right? there's a personality trait, there's a temperament trait, and you gotta learn your traits, baby. I'm just keeping it real. And I'm laughing about it, but you can ask my girlfriend. She know if I mess up on the decode every now and then, I'll pound my fist. And I won't do it in public, but well, every now and then I just get mad. But what I'm saying is that I'm mad at myself. I'm not mad at somebody. But I know my limit, right? And so I try, see, many of us try for perfection. Is there such a thing? I don't know. Let's call it completeness. If you're in a band and it's your job to play the flute and you're in an orchestra, everybody is gonna know when you're off key. Am I right? So you gotta be perfect. You gotta have perfection when you in an orchestra. When I produce my videos, I'm trying to be perfect. And if I mess up, I get mad. She's like, baby, you can really conduct that another way. And I'm looking at her like, you know what? I'm gonna do it this way because I'm telling myself I need to be more cautious of what I'm doing. But believe it or not, she's right. But do I do it all the time? No, I don't. But what I'm saying is that everybody should be honest with themselves on their temperance. They should. If you can't handle a certain somebody and the way they come to you and what they say to you, it's best to say, you know what? With all due respect, I really want to talk about that right now. Because you know certain people gonna irk you and they're gonna take you someplace, or you gonna be taken someplace mentally where neither one of y'all need to be. So it's good to know your temperance. Where some people you can be around and your temperance is just, you got the Jesus piece all day, right? You got the Jesus piece. But look, we gotta be for real. There are some people that you know, either at work or your neighbor or whatever, Christian or not, they just irk you. Look, we can't all get along 100% of time. What we can do is be reasonable. Because like, when I haven't had no sleep and I'm in one of my moods, that's not the time to mess with me, right? But then you got some people, it's not gonna bother them. So you have to know. And so what am I really getting at? God might have created us in his image, but over time, that A-N-D, man, it's changed. It can be changed. And the people who manipulate society, in my humble opinion, they went to work on America and the world generations ago. The music that we listen to, we learned about 40, 50 years ago, certain songs, when you play them backwards, they say certain things. The question has been asked when Barack Obama said, yes, we can. Some people say playing it backwards means what? Hell Satan. You know what I'm saying? So, allegedly. But look, people, we live in that time where you are always battling information which is messing with your A-N-D. It's messing with your mind, your heart, everything. What a shikinic, what a tricky way for Satan to come after us. Because we normally put our defense up on what we see or what we hear right away. But many times Satan can put something right in your face and you don't know it's affecting you. And over time, you messed up. And, you know, I want to dovetail, like the other day when I did a live show, I was talking about, you know, slavery and how a woman will perceive her man over time. If your man acts a certain way, if he's running the street and he's a hoe, believe it or not, if he has a son, he just might have those traits. I'm gonna keep it real. When I was in my 20s, I used to talk about this all the time. And I was educating you because I read this in books back in the day about the A-N-D and how they said, look, There's a famous president who has literally said that. Well, I'm gonna put it out there. Obama has said that. I'm gonna put it out there. I'm gonna see if I can say it not verbatim, because I don't know if I remember it. Remember, Obama said, all I have to do is get a hold of society for a certain period of time and supply the generation with enough raw sewage. Remember that? That's exactly what he said. Supply the earth, supply America with enough raw sewage, enough information of doubt, where they can then doubt their leaders. He said, once I can do that and get a hold of their mind, he said, game over with. You guys remember that? It's on YouTube. And I think one time I played it and I got in trouble with YouTube, so I can't play it. If anybody knows that video, put the name of it in there. I'm gonna say it again. Obama made a speech. Look, baby, the psychological warfare thing is so deep, and I praise God that I have a decent enough memory that I can let you guys know what's going on, allegedly. Obama said all you have to do is supply society with enough raw sewage. I guess that means like with enough problems. Pollute the world with X amount of information, make them doubt their political system and all their institutions. He said, once we get a society at that point where it's broken down, he said, game over with. Otherwise, we can just take it over. Ain't that deep? Think about it. Think about it. Thank you for love offering. So what he means in what aspect, and yes, I am speaking for him, because I think this pairs up with what I'm trying to say. If you can get a hold of the AND, backwards AND is what? If you can get a hold of this brain, this thing between your ears, if you get between that and you can shape it and mold it, I don't have to put chains on you. All I have to do is speak, and you'll go in the direction that I intend for you to go. This is psychological warfare. We got to check ourselves before we wreck ourselves. We got to check. Look, I have to check myself in my relationship about how I feel about my woman. I've been with her a year. And I know she got to check herself about me, because we still learning each other, okay? And it takes years to learn a person. But what I'm saying is that I got to get rid of all of my old thoughts about my past relationships, give her a chance, learn her ways, which arguably are her father's ways, right? And her mother's ways. And believe it or not, you got to be honest with y'all, sir. You probably heard this conversation before. They say, man, you ain't nothing like your mama, but you just like your auntie. You heard that before? Because that's how it's set up. This AND, backwards AND, sometimes it skips over to the other relative, or even it skips a generation. You probably heard where it say, boy, you ain't nothing like your daddy, but you just like your granddaddy. Because this AND backwards is powerful. It's powerful. And the social planners, they have went into the lab. I am convinced. They have went into the lab and they have studied black culture, white culture, Hindu culture. I believe that's why you got a lot of people missing. I believe they have studied every type of human being, that in relation to what we eat, what we drink, what we smell, what we put inside us, hint, hint, baby, they know. A lot of you guys probably heard this. They say the malt liquor in the black neighborhood is different from the white neighborhood. Y'all heard that before? I'm not a drinker, but hey, I'm gonna keep it real here. You ever heard that before? They've been saying that for decades. They say the malt liquor and the drinks and certain foods are different in the black neighborhood versus other neighborhoods. And people say that because they said they knew people who were chemists or were in that field, And they did that to alter the A-N-D backwards. It's deep, y'all. Look. I have been studying this thing for so long that when I became a father, you know how you become a parent for the first time? You're like, okay, I got to give up all my time, right? So I had to get into cartoons, right? When my son was born, I had to get into cartoons, right? I hadn't watched cartoons in a long time. And I was so far removed from Tom and Jerry and the Flintstone and all that. I had to get ready to watch with my son the new cartoons. So I'm watching these cartoons when my son's first born. Now he like Thomas the Train, right? My son like all this, right? But as I'm watching these new cartoons, I'm watching this stuff. And I'm watching these people in the lab coats. And they putting these people in these seats. And they putting these things on their head. How many of y'all see them kind of cartoons? You know what I'm talking about? They in the cartoon, look people, look, you got to pay attention. Because it was blowing my mind. My son just made 19, thank God, this past week. But I can remember the first time I started watching cartoons for a long time with my son. And I'm watching these cartoons. And they got these little jokers in these lab coats. And they got these people in these chairs. And they putting these things on their head. And they go into the machine like it's Frankenstein, right? And they zapping them. And they programming these people. Then they giving them something to eat to see what kind of reaction it is. And just use your imagination. They doing all kind of stuff they giving to them. And I'm like, wow. They're showing the kids to me, literally, not figuratively, literally what we adults are going through. And so I'm watching this stuff like, and I wanted to cry. I remember the first time, I'm not going to say what cartoon it is because I don't want to get in trouble. But those of you all who are parents, you know what I'm talking about. There are a lot of cartoons out there and they doing some stuff to our kids that, look, people, how many of y'all got friends that leave their kids in front of the TV as a babysitter? Don't do that. You need to monitor. Look, I'm keeping it real. I know we busy, and I know the TV is easy because you got to cook food. I understand. You got to cook food, get stuff done. But don't leave your kids in front of them TV too long by themselves. Because you will be surprised what they conditioning your kids to be like. Look, I had to literally try to figure out what was the most wholesome thing for my son to look at. I had no idea as a parent I had to do that. I had to learn. I was like, whoa, they conditioning these kids for the future. And they literally showing them how their brain is being shaped. You feel me? How their brain is being shaped. So don't think your kids is learning everything out in the street and stuff. Baby, that TV is dangerous. I'm keeping it real. That TV is dangerous. Even some of your most innocent cartoons. And like I said, if I name some of them names, you'd be like, oh no, Pearson. Yeah. And the colors are there too. You feel me? The colors are there. Ain't nothing wrong with the colors. I'm just saying. Coincidentally, the colors are there. They speaking. I have literally seen cartoons that talk about the sun god Ra. If I'm lying, I'm flying. I have seen cartoons about the sun gods and Ra. They got them. They teaching Egyptian, all types of history, and they got them gods in front of your children. Look, people, I don't care what nobody say. I haven't watched the cartoons like that in probably maybe 8 years because my son a teenager now. But I was a cartoon watching parent back in the day. You feel me? I'd be up there giggling, having fun with my son. And I was like, oh, wait a minute, dog. No, this something else. I'm like, well, man, I gotta slowly get my son off this because I don't want him conditioned toward this. And look, y'all. We're not even talking about the violence yet, okay? You got some cartoons out there, every 10 seconds, somebody gets shot in the head. Am I right? Am I right? Look, cartoons are dangerous. And so what it does, cartoons on crack, cute. Cartoons, and I ain't knocking all of them, I'm just saying, a lot of these cartoons, they make you insensitive toward the human experience. In other words, you lose your empathy. If you let your kids play these video games all day and somebody getting shot every minute, don't you think over time that's gonna mess with their AND and their empathy toward death is less because they're seeing it every day? Look, people, you got to think like that. Oh, Pearson, you're too extreme. I don't think I am, because I understand how the man works and I understand what Satan's goals are. So when I put it in perspective, to get the next generation in his favor, he's got to do some things. You feel me? He's got to do some things. And what does he has to do? He got to get their mind. He got to get control. And that's what I think. That's what I think Satan is doing. That's what I know he's doing. He's getting the next generation. He's getting the next generation, and he's literally controlling it. He's controlling it, starting with the cartoons, and then you, how would you say it? You then pair that up with what's going on in school. That's the perfect match. So between what they're teaching the kids in school and what's in the cartoons, and then them changing the wording in these textbooks, you guys have seen it. If you don't know what I'm talking about, you can go on YouTube or any social media and type in parents who are rejecting books out of the library. You will be surprised, some of you all. You will be surprised the things which are allowed in the library, let alone the textbooks in school. Things that you would not even show your kids until they're maybe 15 or 16, they're being shown at an early age. And because I was involved with a lady who was in the library business, I know firsthand how the books are tested and how they're decided upon to be placed in the libraries. And believe it or not, if you get enough parents to go to your local library, you can either get on the library board or you can get enough signatures and you can ban certain books. You got power, but you got to know how to work it, okay? I'm glad I remembered that, because the Satan is at war against your children. And a lot of us parents, we're naive. We just don't know because we trust the library. That library will be the last place where you would think your child would grab something which would be diametrically opposed to your Christianity or just your morals, right? But we live in that time where you always have to be on guard. And there are a lot of Christians who, they get these books and they don't know what's in the book until they get it home, because they've already, because they'll have a thing at the library called Book of the Month. Any of y'all ever been involved in that? When you do Book of the Month, guess what? That's the book that you read. Yeah, you're right, toys too. When you do Book of the Month, that's the book you read. And your librarian or assistant librarian, I believe they have to go through that book before it's voted upon and then put in the library. But people, look, I believe that the system is deliberately placing people in positions over the media, even in the library. That's just my personal belief. They're putting them in positions where they are filtering these books out that they're coming down to the library. And then there's a push to push certain books, in my humble opinion, which are immoral. Just keeping it real. So much going on. I kind of didn't mean to get off topic like that, but as I think about it, I'm gonna say it. I hope that a lot of people get to understand that, because look, we're commissioned by the Holy Spirit to train a child in the direction he or she shall go, right? And he or she will not depart. And again, the last thing we would ever think is that we're at war with the library or the school system. But baby, it's the truth. I don't think a lot of people in the library system or the school system know exactly. And I'm gonna put it to you like this: in my last channel, Franchise Pearson, I did a few videos. I think close to maybe 3,000 videos, I think, on that last channel I had. I did a few videos where I talked about, where I speculated, because I did the history of books and the library for about a month. I kept reading to find out, and what I found out, I'm not gonna name any names, what I found out that there are corporations and endowments that give a lot of money to colleges and schools. And believe it or not, they have a heavy influence over our educational system. I'm gonna say it again. Some of you guys probably already know that, but those who don't, I'm just gonna tell you. Like I said, I was involved with a young lady for a long time. We were together, and she was into the library system, so I learned. And I also dated a girl who was writing books. So, and I've been in and out of the media for like 40 some years. So I can just tell you what I see is going on, the research that I did. And this is not the only industry where the powers that be, they got their little grubby hands and stuff, where they give money to these endowments, they give money to these schools, and a lot of them heavily influence the criteria that your kids are reading. It's deep. So if you want to change a nation, you go after the youth. Cause old fogies like me, you ain't gonna be fooling me. About the time I turn that third page, I'm gonna know what's up. But an impressionable child is not going to know. And if you're busy and you're really not monitoring your child, I'm not calling you a bad parent. I'm just saying, if you're too busy to really microscope it, you can miss some things. It's only natural. We all miss things, so don't feel bad. I'm just letting you know, these schools and these libraries, they have literature, pamphlets, and books, in my humble opinion, which are questionable. They are questionable. And you have to ask yourself, my thing is always this: if you wouldn't teach it in Bible college, if you would not teach it in Bible and Sunday Bible school or Wednesday night Bible school, then why are you teaching it to my kid? That was always my, how would you say, my mirror, right? That's how I look at it. If I wouldn't present this material on a Wednesday night Bible class, why is the school presenting that crap in class? That's how I look at it. It's a fight. And like I said, you can go on any social media. You got parents throughout America, big cities and small cities. And when you find out the books that are out there, it will blow your mind. And they draw it up so cute and cuddly. And the things that they're talking about, they're teaching your kids some immoral stuff that you would never think about. That's the truth. So yeah, way back in the day, I was a cartoon junkie with my son. And I was like, wait a minute. The things that they doing, they teaching? I said, wow, how do I get my son interested in something else? Because I don't want him watching these kind of cartoons. Because I'm not sitting there every moment watching cartoons with him. But you know, we're gonna have our father and son moment. You know, parents, we busy. And yeah, we always use a way to use communications, a fun communication, can be TV. But people, let me tell you something. Even if you run your favorite cartoon with your son or daughter on TV, do you know that the commercials that come up in between that show, you got to watch them too? I might be shocking some of y'all. When it first happened, that blew my mind. So I'm like, you know what? I just got to sit with him the whole hour. I can't even get up and go get a pop. I can't even get up and just go get some water, get some watermelon, right? Whatever. Even the commercials, believe it or not, the commercials to me are geared to program your child. This is how long they've been doing this to our kids. And I would literally need a staff to go back and compare cartoons from the 60s and the 70s and the early 80s and 90s. People, I have watched old stuff. And believe it or not, the powers have been speaking through the colors and symbols and words ever since TV started. And one day I might do a show on that. There was if anybody has an additional device, I want you to look this up. I want you to look up Flip Wilson and Muhammad Ali. This is a real good one. Muhammad Ali was on the Flip Wilson show way back in the day. And, Flip Wilson was known for playing the role of Geraldine, right? Right? Geraldine. In the skit, one of the skits between Geraldine and Muhammad Ali was that she wanted him to meet Killer on the phone, right? So they were having fun back and forth. And I think Muhammad Ali asked her about a number. And she said, yeah, you believe in a pocket telephone. Because she had a telephone in her purse. Make a long story short, there is a skit. You found it in 1971. You got to play it. In the skit, Geraldine asked Muhammad Ali something, and you know what they say? They say, say the message is from Skull and Bones. Go back and watch. When you see it, say yeah, I found it, Pearson. It's in there. It's in there. People, I'm gonna say it again. It will blow your mind. Geraldine is having fun with Muhammad Ali, and she got a telephone in her purse. Wasn't no cell phone back in the day. And they playing a role like they talking to her boyfriend Killer. And he asked for something, and she said, well, just say that it was Skull and Bones. It will blow your mind. It will blow your mind. It will blow your mind. I found stuff all the way from the 60s where they are giving you hints about the underworld, a false god, the name of these secret societies, all this stuff. You found it? Did you play it? Did you play it? Look, baby, look, I know what I know. And I'm not a TV watcher, but I like the oldies. So every now and then I'll go on YouTube and I'll watch some Chico and the Man. How many of y'all like Chico and the Man, right? Remember the Chico and the Man? Old school, but it was fun. That was more so clean comedy. When I want to have a good laugh and have some fun, I'll watch Chico and the Man, or I'll watch some Fred Sanford, right? Or I go and watch who else? The Honeymooners, right? The Honeymooners, right? Go down the line, right? Come on now. You really want to have some fun? Just watch them shows, baby. And again, every now and then you'll see something, and you'll be like, man, they slipped something in. Yeah, good times. Yeah, yeah, good times. Don't get started. Y'all gonna get me in trouble. The Jeffersons. Y'all gonna get me in trouble. Cause I had a crush on that girl that was JJ's sister. What was her name? A Dynamite. Y'all remember? What was her name? My girl gonna slap me when she see me. I had a crush on Good Times. It was Thelma. That was her name, Thelma. If her name was Thelma, I had a crush on Thelma. That was JJ's sister. Oh man, man, I had a crush on her. I sure did. I'm gonna get myself in trouble. I'm gonna get myself in trouble. I sure did. I had a crush on Thelma. I looked her up a couple years ago too. Still look good. Still look good. She ain't called me yet. Yeah, I used to watch Chico and the Man, Fred Sanford, all them shows. Y'all remember Barney Miller? Barney Miller, Andy Griffith, the Flintstones, Gilligan's Islands, What's Happening? There you go, What's Happening? Yeah, I see some of y'all old school. If some of y'all young, y'all better rewind this video and take some notes, because y'all don't know what y'all missing. That's right, the Jeffersons, Hill Street Blues. Y'all getting the list? Y'all got the list going on. Y'all need to stop, right? Y'all need to stop. But yeah, people, I wanted to talk about this thing with Mariah Carey and what y'all think about that. But since I'm driving, I just might as well just keep talking. But look, people, that Mariah Carey thing kind of shook me up with them numbers. And I'm kind of scared it's going to be some more females that's going to die mysteriously. Now, they haven't said what date, Miami Vice. Oh yeah. How many of y'all guys start dressing like Miami Vice? Be honest. How many how many of y'all got your hair done like the guys in Miami Vice? Right? And you start wearing your shirt open. Right? You start wearing your shirt open. That was a nice car they had though, right? I'm gonna tell you who had a nice car. Y'all wanna play the car game? Your brother had the car? Let me tell y'all who had a nice car. It was in Rush Hour 2. That Corvette. Y'all seen that? Y'all seen that? Rush Hour 2? Rush Hour 2. That Corvette. What was his real name? Well, come on, y'all going too fast for me. What was it? Rush Hour 2. He was trying to impress Jackie Chan. I'm surprised y'all ain't mentioned Fire Marshal Bill, right? Fire Marshal Bill. What was his real name? What was Chris Tucker's real name in Rush Hour 2? That was a nice car. That was a real nice car. I watched the movie just to see the car again. Jackie liked the car, didn't he? That was a nice car. Yeah, I love the good old days. That was a nice car. Carter, that's right, Carter. It was Carter. How could I forget? Carter. Welcome back, Carter. Oh boy. The new Hindu statue? Okay, I gotta check it out. I've been hearing some stuff. You know, I had somebody call me the other day, like, Pearson, do you think we're going through a transition with Hinduism? And the reason why the person called me was that during the RNC and the DNC, if I'm not mistaken, somebody correct me, did they not have Hindu prayers at both conventions? Is that true? I watched it, not all of it. I hate to bounce around, but I did see the clip of it. They had Hindu prayer at the RNC and the DNC. Then they're like, well, Pearson, you know, they got Swami out there. What's his name? The Republican guy. I never get his name right. Very intelligent guy. And then you got VP Vance. I believe his wife is Indian. And then you got the VP of Kamala Harris, Tim. He always in China. What's that about? Yeah, a lot of people on YouTube are saying that that was witchcraft that was being presented at the DNC and the RNC. Vivic. I wish I could be half as intelligent as Vivic. I need to study more. He's a real intelligent guy. I like that. I think intelligence is sexy. I really do. I think if it's utilized at the right time, I think being intelligent is sexy. I mean, either you got it or you don't. Either you got the A and D backwards, you know, either it's your mama or your daddy's gene, or you studied a lot. I got to give him a new name. Suave. He's suave. He's real smooth. I like him. I've liked Vivic since the first day I met him. First day I saw him. I might not know all his politics, so you know, don't get me on that one. But I've always liked the way he comes across. He's very, you know what? To be honest with you, I think he should have been Trump's VP. How many of y'all feel that way? Is he Indian? And it don't matter to me. Does anybody think that Vivic should have been Trump's vice presidential pick? I'm serious. Somebody type his real name. He got a long name. And my tongue gets tired. Y'all know I got a handicap. Ramaswamy. Somebody type his name in there. Some folks don't know him. Very intelligent guy. Very intelligent man. Very intelligent. Swami, whatever it is. I'd apologize if I ever meet him. I think he should have been VP. I wonder if Trump's ego couldn't handle that. I'm keeping it real. What you think? I need some responses here. Do you all think that Vivic should have been Ramaswamy? Yeah. Well, thank you for the compliment. I think he should have been VP. Look, we haven't had somebody that looked at intelligence in that seat in a long time. Am I right? So it was refreshing to hear Ramaswamy. Look, the first time I heard him speak, you know why? Because he commands attention. Don't you think? Think about it. Do you think that he commands attention when he speaks? I mean, he's so good, he could tell you a lie and you got to think about it. That's how good he is, that he has the command of the English language. And I think we need somebody at that plateau right about now, especially in relation to what we have had. Between word salad and slow Joe, come on, man. Swami should have been VP, and that way after 4 years, he can be president. But hey, it ain't gonna happen, so ain't gonna happen. Like I said, I don't think Trump gonna make it past 45 days, but I would have liked to see Swami up there. I really do. Vivic. Yeah, or RFK. I don't know. I'm not impressed with RFK. I'm not gonna get into him. Don't get mad at me. I'm not impressed with RFK. I'm really not. I look past the name. I'm not really into RFK. I'm not into him. I'm really not. You know, and his views all over the place. I wish he'd just stay in one spot. I like Vivic. I think that I think intelligence is sexy. I'm talking to the ladies. What you think, ladies? I think intelligent men are sexy. I really do. I think it look good on a man. And he ain't got to have on a suit. He can have on some jeans. But I just think it adds to it. It adds to it, you know. And again, in relation to what we had with Biden and Kamala, it's a breath of fresh air to hear somebody like that. In fact, I think it should be a requirement to run for office and be able to speak like you got some sense. I think it should be a requirement. I think it should be a requirement. I just counted myself out, right? Right, I'm done. I'm not gonna make it. I couldn't run for politics. A lot of folks be saying, Pearson, you ain't making no sense. So I already disqualified myself. But yeah, I think I think that we should be able to get somebody in there who can command the English language and talk with authority and firmness, and also can hold a crowd. Obama be trying, but Obama's getting boring with me because I see through Obama. He's getting boring to me. He knows how to hit the right points to how would you say, to get you hypnotized. But I see through him. But yeah, give me some Swami all day, and I'm good. I'm good. Yeah, people. So I am driving home. I finally got my car out of the shop. I had a hit and run accident last week, so I finally got my car out of the shop. So I was doing Uber and walking, and I was on my bicycle for like 8 days. I didn't have a car. Now I'm trying to figure out when I'm gonna go to the black community and interview some black homeowners and people who are out there dealing with this migrant situation. I got to figure out what day I want to do that. I want to go out in the street and interview anybody who's going through this migrant issue. Our mayor just brought another 2,500 migrants into our city when the DNC was here last week, trying to be slick. But I'm gonna leave that subject alone. Been talking about that for a while. But yeah, people. Mariah Carey lost her mom and her sister. Did they say what date yet? They haven't. I know one thing, it lines up with Kobe's death date. And that is probably one of the most bizarre videos I've ever done in my life. For those of y'all who didn't see the video, check it out from yesterday. Kobe is on the cover along with Mariah Carey. And exactly 4 years, 6 months, 4 weeks, and 1 day from Kobe's death date did those two ladies die. Mariah Carey's mother and sister. 4641. What is 4641? They just celebrated, the NBA just celebrated Kobe Bryant's 46th birthday 4 days ago. 46. And he died when he was 41. So how in the world these ladies just happened to die exactly 4 years, 6 months, 4 weeks and 1 day in between his death? Make that make sense, baby. Come on now. It's crazy. We live in a spiritual world. I got to give out a shout out to my baby because she called me last night. Hey, just finished a video. And I didn't know that the two ladies died. And my baby called, we were talking, and she's like, you know, Mariah Carey's mother and sister died. I'm like, I didn't know that. So as we're on the phone, I'm decoding. I'm like, baby, I gotta go. She's like, what? Don't get me wrong. We spent about a half hour on the phone, but I'm like, baby, I gotta go. Because I told her, I said, this decode is getting crazy. I said, I can't believe what I'm seeing. But I was decoding when I was on the phone with my girl last night. She called me. That's why I gave her a shout out. I'm glad the Lord got somebody in my life that I can talk, you know, about the goodness of the Lord and other things, because that's one thing I can say about my girl, amongst other things. She helps me think, and I need somebody to help me think, because I'm not always right. I'm not always on point. I'm not always timely. And many times the Lord has her say things and it piques my interest and makes me think about something. So yesterday was one of those moments when my girl called and boom, it made me think about something. And I was like, whoa. I'm like, Mariah Carey? 2 deaths in the family? And so I started doing some research and then it hit me. I'm like, wait a minute. This is close to Kobe's birthday. Right? I'm like, this is close to Kobe's birthday. Wait a minute. It's getting hot in here. And I was like, wait a minute. You mean to tell me that these 2 ladies done died and it just quote unquote happened to be in relation to Kobe Bryant by the numbers? What's really going on? I mean, what's really going on in this world? I admire math. I really do. I admire it because it speaks. But it just shows you what has been going on around us. And as you get older, you begin to slow your roll, and you begin to think about the things that have happened, and dates speak. And when you get older, you be like, man, yeah, that happened on that day. That happened on that day. It was this person, that circumstance. And if you're not a decoder, of course, your mind is like, wow, what a coincidence. You know how when you're growing up and you say, wow, what a coincidence. Man, that happened 10 years ago. Almost the same way. Wow, what a coincidence. Because we all were like that, right? We were all like that. Except for my little crazy self, right? I'm not knocking nobody else. Probably 25% of y'all like that, right? But I think all of us at some point in life, we've said that, like, man, I've seen that before. Some folks call it deja vu, right? Remember that song came out 30 years ago? Deja vu, dun, dun, dun. Could you be that dream guy I once knew? That was a pretty song. Yeah, deja vu. Yeah, deja vu. I think Sade made a deja vu song as well. But yeah, deja vu. Some folks call it deja vu. Some folks call it circumstance. Some folks call it coincidence. If I knew about 50 different languages, I could say it in a different way. But you guys know what I'm saying. You have situations in life where you say, man, I can recall where that happened before. And you shake your head. I remember when I was younger, something would happen and I would take a whole hour remembering, trying to recall a situation that had just happened. And majority of the time I could figure it out. You ever done that before? Hey, how you doing? You ever done it before? How many of y'all have gotten to a point where you have seen a situation and you recall it and it was bugging you so much that you called somebody because you know they will remember? Right? Thank God for memorization, right? That's me. Sometimes that can be a bad habit. Because when I'm with my girl, I'm like, okay, baby, I'm not going to decode. But then she'll say something. I'm like, you spoiling the mood, baby. You got me thinking about something. But yeah, my girl makes me think. So she's probably responsible for about 10 or 15 videos because she make me think. And when I get to thinking, the wheels get to turning and I get to doing research. So yeah, that was because of my girl yesterday. called me and told me in the conversation that Mariah Carey's mother and sister had died. I could have been all night doing that because my mind went to a few situations where a parent and a child or two relatives died the same day. But I wasn't going to do all that kind of decoding. That, I'd be all day trying to do that. But this was relevant. But people, let me tell you something. Jesus is coming soon. He's coming soon. Too many signs going on. Too many situations happening. Too many policies being created where they're setting up a one world system right in front of us. And it's undeniable now. Everything is set whereby the stage is set, I guess you could say it like that. The stage is set for the Antichrist to appear. Basically, the people who have helped him set it up, they have rolled out the red carpet for him. And I'm so glad that I'm here to be on YouTube and talk about this. I count it a blessing and a treasure, and it's almost scary that I do this, but I've been doing it for so long. But still, for me to talk to this many people in a short period of time, it still seems like something new. And because every week, undoubtedly, there's something new, there's always something to uncover. It's like walking in a forest, and when you walk through, you pull up a rock, and there's a message. And as you read the messages, it's a clue to show you what direction to go. I guess that's a beautiful illustration. You pick up enough positive rocks, you know it's leading you toward the Lord. And that's what I want y'all to do. I want y'all to take this information and don't forget about who you should be serving. Because a lot of these rocks that I pull up in terms of information and decoding and revelation, hidden stuff, I want you to understand you got two choices. You can either follow the road of Christ, or you can pick up that rock and avoid the darkness, which is really the same thing. Avoid the darkness, people. When you pick up on the decode and you see how negative it was, these certain people you have to leave alone. I've said it before, I'm gonna say it again. Satan knew what he was doing when he made stars. You understand what I'm saying? Satan knew what he was doing when he made stars. You have to remember, arguably, unless I don't know my Bible, arguably, Satan is the first demonic falling star. You understand? So Satan knows a little bit about stars. Am I right? What the minister say? Am I right? Satan knew what he was doing by creating stars. You see, stars are something that we innately look up at. That's one reason I call my channel, Emmanuel Blue. When I first started, I had to break it down to you guys. There's nothing wrong with the color. Ever since I was a kid, when I look to the sky, it's blue. When I look at the sky, I want to be a part of the heavens. So that's why I made this channel, was my backup channel. I named it Blue because that's symbolic for heaven. And then I tied it together with New Testament theology in that you take the word Emmanuel, right? It's a beautiful word. Emmanuel means God be with us. And so I put the words together. Emmanuel Blue, that is God be with us in heaven. Hello, how you doing? And so when I was a kid, I used to be in the grass. I would spin around as fast as I could and get dizzy and fall down and look to the sky, look to the heavens. You know how the earth, the sky moves in the opposite direction? That was my fun. That was my fun. And so that's what I used to do. And so when I was a kid, my first poetry book, I wrote a book in my teenage years. and it's called Emmanuel Blue, God Be With Us in Heaven. So when I decided to make this channel, I called it Friend Shot Blue. So what am I saying? Satan knows the stars. He knows the stars. Arguably, again, he was the first fallen angel, the demonic transformed into that thing. He lost, he fell from grace. And as the closer he got to earth, the darker he became. So what happens is that in our generation, he's focusing back on that which he wants to belong to. I've said this in another way, so let me break this thing down. I believe that allegedly the Elon Musk of the world, they are doing what the people back in the day, I believe there were Elon Musk type people back in the day who built the Tower of Babel. And one of the reasons they built the Tower of Babel is because they want to get back to heaven, fight God, and take over the throne. You feel me? So I believe what they're doing with all these different space explorations, they are not telling us, but they're getting closer and closer to the firmament. To the firmament. Now, I'm putting that out there because I want you to understand. Stars twinkle, they light up. There's something that we look up to. Satan, in his wildest dreams, never thought he would be looked at as a fallen angel. Think about it. All through scripture and all through life, theologians and preachers, we all talk about Satan as being the fallen one, right? The fallen angel. And a third of them who are with him, they're the fallen. He don't like that. He don't want to be an angel of light, but he does want to be amongst the stars. How do I know? Because he said, I want to be like the Most High. Well, if you're going to be like the Most High, then you got to be amongst the stars and above. You got to be in the firmament. Think about what I'm saying. Think about how deep this is. That's why I broke it on my last channel last year on Friendship Pearson, that this domain is nothing but rehearsal. The Adam and Eve garden experience, that was just rehearsal. Once he conquers this, his next move, trust me, his next move is to go back to glory, but he's got to set this in place, make this a basis and a launching pad to go back up there. And he tried it before during the Tower of Babel, and he wants to do it again. So I believe in our generation, this is the generation where he's trying it again. I believe so. So when you think about all these stars who are dying, all these stars, whether we don't want to call them Hollywood stars or entertainers, these stars are only temporary because Satan doesn't want you to, in result, look at them. It's an all eyes on me mentality. And when you read the precious scripture, it gives you clues when it says that no man will buy or sell without the mark. That is, you're going to come through me. Satan always wants the eyes on him. So he might be the star of the earth, but he doesn't want to settle for that. He wants to go back amongst the stars and fulfill what he always wanted, his objective. I want to be like the Most High. So always remember that. Every time you see a famous person die and they call him a star, believe it or not, Satan did that because he's always recycling the stars. That's why you went from DMX to Little Nas X, from Michael Jackson and Prince to other people. Those stars don't last too long because there's an aspect of jealousy in this thing. But he don't tell you when he give you those Hollywood contracts. See, this is just what I've observed over the generations. I'm like, how come these stars, Elvis, go down the road, how come these stars They don't last long. But certain evil politicians, they be in a wheelchair till they're 105. Am I right? You got to distinguish the two. The stars are used for you to look up to, but you're really giving glory to Satan. But he got to sacrifice them at some point. He sacrifices them at some point. And that's what he does. That's why I've been telling people, believe it or not, Trump is a star. And Trump is going to be a fallen star. He might not tell you, and you might not ever thought of it like that, but they are going to recycle him. And then they're going to get rid of him just like they did Elvis, just like they did some of the Beatles, like John Lennon, just like they did Michael Jackson, just like they did Prince. If you do the numerology on all of them, if you do the numbers on them, it points to something, allegedly. And because I do this, and I've been thinking like this since I was a teenager, I've seen the pattern. So I tell people, as much as I wanted to be in the music business and whatnot, at some point you're going to pay for being up in there. You're just going to pay. But they're not going to tell you. You're going to sacrifice something. Your dignity, your masculinity, your virginity. You're going to sacrifice something, because the devil he's got the infrastructure set up that when you join in that thing, you're going to have to sacrifice. And the ultimate sacrifice is either you, a loved one. You can be there 20 years, all of a sudden you got a shame moment. Got a lot of Hollywood actors that go through a moment of shame where they had to do something and they look stupid around the world. This is just what I'm understanding. Satan wants them to always be a recycled fallen star. And he does a switch out. That's why many times when I decode, like when I first started YouTube over 4 years ago, I put myself in the mindset because I knew from the numbers that DMX was going to die on a certain day. And I did that video. It's on Rumble. I did 2 videos that week. And I showed the same day I predicted on April 9th, that's when DMX would die. And I said Lil Nas X was his replacement, because I had studied this thing for so long that when I saw DMX in court, in jail, drunk, doing all kind of bizarre stuff, that's usually a sign that at some point they're going to take him out, because they have to tailspin out of here. You ever notice the trend with a lot of stars? They get on drugs, alcohol, they've been in jail, something has happened to them, and all of a sudden, boom, they dead. That gives the media something to run with for a good excuse to run that story for a couple of months of gossip where you're looking at the star. But little did you know that Satan had built them up, and you're really not looking at them, you're looking at him. Why? Because many of them, when they're out on the set, what are they doing? They're doing the hand sign to let you know who they belong to. They're wearing the colors. They're doing this on their album cover. Am I right? Do you understand what I'm trying to tell you? They're representing the Most High to them. The Most High to them, allegedly, is the one that they're worshiping behind the scenes, in the darkness. The ultimate goal is to get you to look at the stars in flesh. But really, you're looking at Satan. And they have to lead you to Satan by doing and having all these different wild, bizarre behavior and all the signs. And they do the rituals right in front of your face. They do the rituals right in your face. So I just wanted to share that with you, how they do it. But he ultimately wants to go back to heaven. Not that he miss it, but Satan wants that throne. He wants that throne real bad. And he has promised a third of the angels a cohabitation, if you will. Oh, you got to look at it just like that. He's promised these fallen angels for being here and setting this kingdom up Right here on earth, he's promised them a status level. But it's not going to happen. Yeah. They are the fallen one. They believe that at some point, they're going to be able to beat up on the archangel, Gabriel and Michael, and take it over. That's what they believe. And I do believe that that's why they got all types of different secret weapons and different things on the earth that they have made so powerful that they think they can really blow God out of heaven. That's what I believe that's what I believe they're planning. But you don't have to worry about nothing. God see what they're doing. He know what they're doing. And God can just think about it and stop their plan. So you don't have to worry about who's going to be victorious. Because another reason why Jesus came, believe it or not, was not just to save us and seal us and bring us back into his fold. It was to make sure that this kingdom was void of power to ever come up there and take the power. I'm going to say it again, because I don't think I've ever said this on YouTube, but I'm going to blow it out just like that. Jesus went into the earth and he got the keys, didn't he? Did he not? He got the keys of death, hell, and the grave. Death, hell, and the grave. Anytime you got a key, you must be opening something, right? We know what hell is. Hell is torment. We know the grave. So death, hell, and the grave. So Christ conquered those things. And in conquering those things, he has total control over life. All that can be birthed and all that can be done away with. Do you understand? So that in the final battle, see, Satan don't understand the psychology of God. God is moving while you sinning. God is moving while you're destroying. God is moving while you're thinking. God is moving and freezing your thoughts so he can make a move. When you're all powerful, you have the possibility to literally stop time and space. Do you understand? As you get older, you're going to understand this. And some of y'all probably done this while you're young. You ever walk down the street and all of a sudden you forget something? I ain't talking about an object. You just forget and you be like, wait a minute. The last 5 or 10 seconds, I literally felt like I went somewhere and now my mind came back to me. You understand what I'm trying to say? You ever done that? Where you just lost time and space, all awareness of time and space. When you get old, you do it a lot. But when you do it when you're young, sometimes you don't tell nobody because you don't want folks to think you crazy. It's easy to do. Baby, let me tell you how powerful God is. God can freeze your mind and Satan's intent and Satan's mind. So when the devil is up to no good and tinkering with a plan, he can actually stop time and space and do something to stop whatever it is that Satan gonna do. So it ain't like he got an arcade game and he continually to shoot at you. God can unplug the arcade game, have you trapped, plug the arcade game back up, and then you simply shooting at something that ain't even there. That's how powerful God is. But Satan don't realize that. He think that he got all power. But my theory is this. When Christ came, he didn't just come to save and bring us back into the fold. Like I said, he didn't die for this system. The system goes to hell. The earth goes to hell. He died for us. However, when he came back victorious. What did he come back victorious for? So that so as we go through things, nothing can overtake us, nothing can overconquer us, if there's such a thing. And in the end time, also, nothing can conquer us. And nothing, when God decides to end this thing and they're fighting him, guess what? It's already written that he's victorious and he's going to be able to defeat Satan. I want to stop and say this another way because I really want you guys to get this. God is omnipotent. That means he's all powerful. He's already omniscient. That means he sees everything. And he's also omnipresent. That means he's everywhere. When God sent himself in the form of flesh, went into the bowels of the earth, came back up, he had a thrust with him. He didn't just come back, open the door, and say, hey, here I am. He came back with a thrust. That thrust to me is called victory. You ever see the old Superman and you see a streak of things behind Superman as he flies? That's what I mean by a thrust. When he comes, power is in his trail. In the end time, Satan is going to challenge God for one last time. And he's going to challenge him in the firmament. It's in the Bible. Because God came in the form of a man through Jesus, he's already taken care of everything possible that when Satan come up against him, he'll be victorious. Matter of fact, I'm predicting God don't even have to leave the throne. The Bible clearly already says that he's going to have the archangel Gabriel and Michael fight this war. All he has to do is put it in motion by speaking his word. That's why I say many times, the most powerful force on the planet and in the atmosphere is the word of God. Because that's what screwed the stars in the sockets. That's what hung the moon out at night. And that's what put the sun out during the day. And that's what has the earth, I guess, suspending in the universe. God is all powerful. But Satan is so blind, his conscience is seared. He can't think no other way. But he thinks that he can overpower God, come through the first firmament and be victorious. But again, Jesus came. And Satan didn't realize that when he came and he got those 3 keys. And he locked up a whole herd of those. That's why in the last days, they're using apparatuses like the CERN to let them out. Do you guys understand what I'm saying now? It's so deep. And we are the only generation that can really discuss that. We're the only generation. If we just sit down and think about it, no other generation can look at it like that because they didn't have a last day experience. But we do. And we can see what's happening around us. And as we read our Bible, we know what Satan did. We know he said wanted to be like the Most High. And we see the progression of the earth and where it's going. And if you just look at the technology that they have and the advancements, baby, they're trying to get back up to glory. But he can't win. Because victory means just that. Victory. Victory. Many times in Hollywood movies, we sit back with our Planters, peanuts, and popcorn, and we watch a movie for an hour and a half or 2 hours, and we wait to see who's gonna win. We don't have to do that. We don't have to do that. We don't have to sit in our seats suspended trying to figure out who's gonna win this thing. It's already set. This is why when you get saved, you should understand not only the salvation experience and what you saved you from, but now you are what the Bible says, you become a conqueror with Christ. Ain't that deep? Think about it. See how I put it together? You become a conqueror with Christ. And like I said in my video the other night, all God requires is a mustard seed of faith to make it work. You're still a conqueror. You're still a conqueror. Because he came, he gave his life, he got the three keys, and there's nothing above, nothing below, nothing as far as east from west, north and south, right? We're overcomers. We cannot be defeated. Because God knew, because we're made in his image, we would have some thoughts in the future about how we're going to get through this thing. You see how loving he is? You see how loving God is? He has already assured you that I got it taken care of. Oh, you ain't got to worry about that. Man, I got this. That's already taken care of. Oh, that, man, been done that. That's why getting saved is so important on so many levels. Having that relationship with him, walking daily, growing in this walk, getting to know and listen, hear his voice, that's what we should all be. And once you understand this at a certain level, like, man, I am more than a conqueror with Christ. Why? Because he already saved me, and he saved that which once was holy. Once we get to heaven, we're going to find out just what he did in the earth. He must have done some serious surgery. Because you know when you do surgery, you got to gut something out and get rid of it and then heal it. Christ had to do some serious surgery when he went down there. And look. Arguably so. Christ's ego is so beautiful that he didn't even mess up his fingers when he rose. You know why I know? Because the Bible says that the angels rolled the stone away. Somebody say hallelujah. Now that's a bad God. Anytime you ain't got to roll away your own stone, come on, man. That's who we serving. The angels say, hey, you about done down there, master? I hear you down there taking care of Satan in the gang. Don't worry, we right here. We got your back. Oh, one more day, Lord? Okay, I got you. All of a sudden, the Lord's like, hey, can you roll that boulder away from me? And they rolled that stone away, baby. A few folks was looking. Hey, that looked like the Savior to me. Ain't that man that's up there on that cross? Come on, man. Got a story to tell. We got the victory. I got an album from back in the day. It's titled We Got the Victory. I can't think of that name. I think it's by a Pentecostal church. Yeah, Keith Pringle. Y'all got that album by Keith Pringle? I Got the Victory. Y'all got that album? I Got the Victory. I think I'm about to go play that. Got to go get happy. Yeah, I Got the Victory. Yeah, it's a song by Keith Pringle, I believe. And it's called I Got the Victory. You got the victory. Keith Pringle. You like Pringle chips? Okay, that's funny. But yeah, I'm glad you guys had this rendezvous with me. We'll do more. Praise God for whom all blessings flow. I'll probably do one more video in about another hour, but yeah. Glad we had this moment. It made me think about some things, you know. And thank God for Jesus, his purpose. And yes, all the signs are there. All the signs are there. It's time to get right, stay right, get ready for the flight. What a glorious moment. And trust me, he gonna make a way out of no way. All right, folks, thank you for the love offering. I appreciate it. Every little bit helps. And you know what? If you guys can do, I thought about something the other day. I got to start remembering this. If you guys want to, I got to fight against this algorithm. And I thought about this months ago, but I really thought about it this morning. If you guys can go to any video and just go in the comment section to 5 or 10 people and just type in there, please resubscribe. That would help me a whole lot. Did you guys read in the comment section? I think it was today. Go back and watch the video I did today. I think the second person said, Pearson, this is the first time in 1 month I got a notification. That hurt. That hurt. It hurt. My last video I did this morning. Go and look on there. See, I don't make this stuff up. The receipts are there. The emails I've been getting, every channel I get, it's a war. So just go in there and find a name in the comment section and say, please resubscribe. And I bet 50% of the people will be like, wow, Pearson's still out there? And if they get mad, say, you know what, Pearson asked me to do it, whatever. Just put a prayer up there. You ain't got to put my name in there. I want to get in trouble, but I'm fighting against his algorithm. I guess that's legal for me to tell you to do it. It ain't gonna hurt. Shoot. I'm tired of this, people. It's terrible. 2 nights ago, I started watching after night. You know, the devil get busy at night, right? I got up for about an hour the last 2 nights, and I watched my my subscriber number. And every 10 minutes, I was losing 2 subscribers. Every 2 to 3 minutes. It's just crazy. It's crazy. It's crazy. But hey, we're going to fight, and we got the victory. We got to fight some way. We got to fight somehow. Or you can type in there, are you subscribed? We just gotta, if you find value in the channel, just put that in there. That's all. If everybody do 5 or 10 people for a while, we get these numbers up. Because I know the things that I'm teaching are valuable. We might not always agree, but the bottom line is salvation. It's a salvation call. So yeah. All right, people, I'm about to go. Thank you. You guys have a beautiful one. Just put Pearson. Well, you don't have to just put it. Yeah, just put in there. Please resubscribe to Pearson. French shot blue. Okay, I get it. Yeah. Please subscribe to French Shot Blue. Something simple as that. And I bet half the people are unsubscribed. Go back maybe 20 videos ago, because it's happening again. Yeah, my old channel, I got to take our time and fight to get that back. I did it at the beginning, but it's going to take a while. I got to do a lot of research. I just told myself, you know what? Build this up. Then when I'm ready to fight back and prove to them that I didn't steal nobody's music, I know I can. And yeah, I get that channel back because I didn't steal nobody's music. You guys know when I was doing music, I had a partner who was in agreement with me, who was doing videos, who was putting music to my videos. And he was on there loving it. And I thought praising the Lord. But we got into it because I don't want to keep doing music and not put it out there. If I'm gonna do music for the Lord, baby, the Lord got to be glorified. It ain't always about money. I run a business, okay? And like I told y'all before, I handle my business. So that's why I lost my last channel. Somebody lied on me and said I stole their music. Y'all know that's a point blank lie. Y'all know every video I did with that person, it was in the comments section saying, thank you, Pearson, for putting me out there. Thank you. That person had their channel, I had my channel. I was featuring them so they could grow, and they was making videos off my stuff. Does that sound like I stole something? Everybody know I didn't steal it. But this is how the devil is. That's why it's hard for me to get with anybody. Because these are so-called Christian people. So-called Christian people. They email you, they make music, first of all, they took my videos and put music to it, and then asked me could I feature it on my channel, and then could they use the video on their channel? And I said, yeah. And y'all watched us every 2-3 months with a different song. Y'all watched us having a good time, praising the Lord. Then me and that person got into it because I don't believe in half doing the gospel. I believe in doing the gospel to edify the Lord. And if you're going to make some money, I'm going to make some money. If we're going to do this thing, we're going to do it together. But you're not going to just keep it on YouTube. Because my stuff was so good, in my humble opinion, the good Lord could have got edified by it. But I couldn't get that person to see. I'm not a thief. But I will push you to say, look, let's get a contract, let's do business, and let's put it on other social medias to see what other people are saying about us. Then once we got tested with that, and I felt it would be good enough, then I was going to shop the music. And I couldn't get this person to do it. So we got into it. It would make you angry too if somebody took your stuff and started making videos and you realize that it's for them and not for you. It would make you mad too. And that's what I felt was going on. So, you know, I've always wanted to do a music ministry. Always wanted to do it. I've always wanted to do a music ministry. Always wanted to. But my age, I don't have those technical skills. One day I play a little piano, but sometimes my mind ain't right, but because I have a handicap. But me and him could have had a good thing if he had just played it right. We could have had a beautiful thing. Can you imagine having Bible study, some decent Christian music, decoding, talking about world events, praying together, all on one channel? That was my goal. That was my goal. And it's still my goal. But you got people out here, they're not business minded and they don't want to share. I had no problem with him having another channel and him having his music on his channel and mine at the same time. I had no problem with that. But then when we get into it, you're gonna go and email YouTube and say that I stole your music, and then YouTube says, well, since you stole his music, that's a copyright infringement. Do you know if I wanted to, I could sue that boy? I could literally sue him. Because I have all the evidence. I got a copy of all the videos that we did with him on it, praising the Lord with me, asking me, could he be on my show? I could sue him. But I'm not wasting my time. I decided to make a business decision in relation to the Spirit of God. I'm like, God, would you have me go fight this person and put him in court and then get my channel back? Or should I build a new channel? Hands down, I felt the Holy Spirit saying, you know what, Pearson? Build your new channel. Deal with that later. So that's what I did. Man, what a world. But I prayed for him. I'm mad that he did it because he wasn't smart. But he blew his blessing, because through me, he could have had something, because I really believe God got his hand on me. And even though it might be at a turtle's pace sometime, when God gonna move, can't nothing stop it. That's why he came and got the 3 keys. But everybody who crying, Lord, 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 they're not in your favor, baby. You got to test the spirit. I open myself up. I doubt if I ever do that again. My trusting skills are all-time low. I'm going to stay so low. But I love you guys, all right? Have a good evening. Pray for me, and I'll pray for you. We have black clouds coming up, so look like a storm is coming. God bless. I'm going to go park my car. God bless. Talk to you guys later. Thank you. Bye-bye.